Hello everyone and welcome back. Thank you for keep following. Please, if it's the first time I be in this channel, don't forget to check also my other social media, Patreon and also Instagram, where you can see lots of pictures and also what I'm playing and also some Kickstarter that I'm interested in already backed it. So follow also on that. Today we do something like different. I was wondering my top 10 underrated games in my collection. And then I decided to ask the same question to ChatGPT. No, what do we know about ChatGPT? Does he like games? We don't know. So I asked ChatGPT their favorite or their top 10 underrated board games. But before doing that, I asked ChatGPT the definition of underrated board game, and that's the definition. An underrated board game can be defined as a game that possesses high quality gameplay, innovative mechanics, thematic depth, or overall enjoyment but does not receive the recognition, popularity, or acclaim it deserves. The games often lack a widespread popularity, have limited marketing or exposure, are overshadowed by more popular games, offer unique or niche experience, have the misconception about complexity or appeal, receive mixed or modest initial reception. In summary, an underrated board game is one that is loved by those who have experience but hasn't received the wide recognition or popularity it arguably merits based on its quality and the enjoyment it can provide. I very much agree with what ChatGPT I just said. Yes, if I see an underrated board game, it's a game that doesn't have lots of exposure. I rarely see playing. I rarely see people playing it. Most of the time, if I bring it to the table, people haven't played it. They are not interested. And even in social medias or other influencer out there, they don't talk about much those games, so you can see them in the top 10 or top 100 very rarely. So I'm gonna describe 10 games now. I'm gonna mention 10 games that I feel like they deserve to be in everyone's collection, deserve to be on the spotlight because they can bring really a lot of cool mechanics, niche experience, and niche innovative mechanics as well, some of them. And if you never heard of them, check them out and let me know what you think. So let's start with my number 10. My number 10 is a two-player game, and this two-player game, I think it didn't get the widespread, although it's a mass market game. It doesn't receive the widespread because of the name, which is Star Wars Risk. I think the Risk word at the end didn't help that much because the people that went to the big box stores and find it bought a Risk, or they bought it because they like the theme of Star Wars and they like Risk or they're familiar with the system and they bought it, which is a totally different experience. Those that they are more into the hobby, they don't want to go to play Risk, even though there's an IP. But this game is totally different. Doesn't have anything related to Risk beside the name and the logo, the publisher Hasbro. So what is this? It's a two-player game, and it tries to recreate the sixth episode of Star Wars, Return of the Jedi. So you have one player that's playing the rebels, trying to lower the shield and then eventually destroy the Death Star, and on the other side you have the Empire trying to destroy everything. You have Darth Vader trying to kill Luke Skywalker. You have the Death Star that tried to destroy all the other spaceships, and so this is back and forth with a very nice and simple card mechanic. You draw a card, you have your cards or other cards, and you play a card or you program it. There's a little bit of programming. You have 3 cards that you program in which order you're gonna play it. The same does your opponent. You chuck some dice depending on what you do. You can play another cards, and that's very important. There are some goals that you want to achieve quickly to play more cards. The more cards you play, the stronger is your action. Yes, it's a little bit unbalanced towards the rebels. It's definitely easier to win with the rebels, but I'm telling you, I've seen it, or I lost against Emperor. I won being the Emperor, not very often, but for that reason, that win is really satisfying. So my number 10, Star Wars Risk. Let's see what ChatGPT says at number 10. Oh, well, ChatGPT at number 10 already breaks the rules, because I asked ChatGPT with the actual question that I asked. It was, what are your 10 most underrated board games and why? This kind of question. And at number 10, well, he broke the rules. Well, perhaps I didn't give any rules. Introduce an expansion. So I didn't put any expansion. Well, ChatGPT put an expansion. There you go. It's already out of the rails. This ChatGPT is incredible. Already has own rules. Well, number 10, there is Root, the Underworld expansion. Okay, let's see why it's underrated. While Root is widely acclaimed, the Underworld expansion doesn't get as much love as it should. It adds 2 new factions, the Krauts and the Moles, and a new map that significantly changes the dynamics of the game. This expansion adds even more depth and replayability to an already complex and strategic game, making it a must-have for Root fans. I do have this expansion. I think it's incredible. It's very good. I probably think it's the second best expansion in terms of what you get. It's underrated. I see play it quite a bit. I think on Root in general, the base game is, people are satisfied with the base game. You get lots out of it. You have four good factions that can satisfy lots of people. You already have 2 maps. I've heard that I don't disagree on the argument that the new map of the Underworld is a little bit doesn't encourage the confrontation as much as the main board. It is, at least the lake doesn't do that. You can turtle up on your region and then you score point from there. So I can see that if you have some special faction, you have the otters, you can fly around the river, you have the moles that can pop up anywhere, so that can spice up a little bit more. It's definitely more suitable for the new type of faction more than the previous one. But overall, yeah, moles is definitely one of my favorite faction. The Krauts are very difficult to play. I don't feel comfortable playing it. But yeah, it's good. It's I don't know if it's underrated. It's, you tell me in the comments. On my number 9, we have another 2-player game, which is a racing game. I would say I think it's more popular than Star Wars Risk, but I put it because I think many people give it right now lots of attention of Heat. Then there is Camelot, there is Downforce, lots of racing games. But there are not many racing games for 2 people, and there are not many racing games for 2 people that feel like a race, and that is Odin's Ravens. This is a card-based game. You have a truck of 16 cards, I believe, and you need to go around the loop with your ravens from one side to the other side, and the same side at the same time you have the opponent starting on the end for your track, and then do the loop. And you play cards. You can have special abilities from Odin, so you can shift some cards in the track so you can go faster, you can slow your opponent. Very cool. Very free flow, very simple, streamlined, very you play cards, your turn is over, your opponent's turn is over, back to you, you draw some cards, and then your ravens. So offers lots of tactics, the board shift. You need to react, and you need to decide when to play the special powers, because once you play it, they're gone. So when you really want to have that great, incredible boost that leads you really at the top of the race, and then maybe win in the last 20 minutes, like race games, very quick, you want to play it again, Odin's Ravens. For ChatGPT, number 9, we have Rococo. Okay, that's a pretty big one. Why is underrated? This game combines deck building with area control as players takes on the role of dressmakers in the 18th century France. Despite its elegant theme and mechanics, Rococo often flies under the radar compared to more popular Euro games. I wonder what type of Euro games. Its unique theme and blend of mechanics make a standout experience that deserve more attention. I don't know much about Rococo, so definitely is underrated. I've seen it on the marketplace by many people. I think there's a beautiful edition. It has a beautiful color. Maybe ChatGPT is right. I cannot comment. Yes, it's underrated. I don't know anything about it. Leave in the comment if you play and then tell you what you think about it. At my number 8, we have cooperative game. This cooperative game comes from Taiwan, and this is Rescue Polar Bear. I like the theme is your researchers try to fight climate change and to gather points and data to understand why how you can rescue or fight the climate change. So you need to have data points about the temperature to fight that. In the meantime, the ice is melting and the polar bears are falling into the water, so you need to rescue them because you don't want them to die. That makes sense. And so you have your little boats with special powers going around either gathering data or rescuing polar bears. The polar bears, sometimes mom and papa shoot up a baby. It has a very similar pandemic feel. You have something that happens, you roll dice, so there is or maybe one die. Anyway, there is some rolling of a die or dice, and remember that create this randomness of the event deck. There's no event deck. There's this kind of randomness. It's very punishing. If you have one or two bad turns, it's very difficult to take over and rescue all the polar bears. But it's very, very good. It's very hard to find. It was a Kickstarter, I believe, or released almost 10 years ago now, I think. And it's hard to find it. I was very lucky to find it. I used copy. I always find it new in French. It seems easier to find. In English, I found a used copy, and I grabbed it, and I love it. It's my cooperative game, probably my number 1 cooperative game, or at least in top 3 for sure. Rescue polar bears. Verse C for ChatGPT. Number 8, we have innovation. The civilization building card game is known for its chaotic and unpredictable gameplay, where players advance through different eras of history by building up their civilization. The sheer number of possible cards interaction and the quick swings of power can be overwhelming, leading to it being overlooked in favor of more stable and controlled games like Through the Ages. However, innovation offers a dynamic and ever-changing experience that is rich in tactical decision making. I know there's few folks that like innovation. For example, Tom Vassell from the Dice Tower really liked this game. I haven't played it. The look is not appealing to me. You can see it's not something that attracted me. But the deck building, or is it building card game, civilization building card game? Civilization games, I like it a lot. It's something that is always fun. I haven't not played Through the Ages as well, so I don't know how it compares. Yes, I agree, it's overlooked, though people play it. Good choice, ChatGPT. And by the way, I did not see I'm seeing the answer for the first time right now. Okay, like this is my first time seeing the answer. I just typed this question and I wrote my list, and now I'm reading it in front of you for the first time. So I have no idea what ChatGPT have written there. So it will be a surprise for me as well. Number 7 have Delve Merchants. This is a deck building game. I think there's like 3 sets by another set, like 4 Kickstarter, I think, or 3 Kickstarter. There's very small decks with few factions, and then you have the big box with all the faction, all the promos, etc. And you pick up a bunch of factions. I think 3 or 4 depending on the number of player. You shuffle and you have this deck building, and I like it. It's very simple deck building. You have the special powers there that you can trigger, whether you use the card to buy cards or use the special power for the card. So you always have this common decision making that you need to do in a deck building game. Play the card for the money, for the value, play the card for the power, or eventually score points. And when you score points, you actually shrink your deck. You need to put cards on the bottom, and the idea is you build your stand of merchants, and you need to go from 1 card to 7 cards. You have some values in this ascending order, so getting to the end you need to play more and more higher cards and make your deck thinner, so it gets more challenging. So it's a race. I like also these. I like games that don't just, oh, this kind of pounds. No, whoever gets to 7 first wins the game, period. Full stop. I like that. I like the art. Yeah, I feel it's underrated because people go towards more, I think, more complex, more masculine type of deck building. This is maybe the cute look, a little bit mean. There are some factions that are mean, but you can remove them, don't play with them. Yeah, the cute look perhaps let this guy fly under the radar, but really cool stuff, really good deck building. Let's see, ChatGPT at number 7 puts Etnos, a surprisingly deep area control game disguised as a light card game. Etnos offers quick gameplay with plenty of strategic depth. Its simple rules and fast pace often lead people to dismiss it as a filler game, but the mix of card drafting, set collection, and area control make for a highly strategic experience that rewards repeated play. 100% agree with what ChatGPT said. It's very fast game. The art is definitely, I think, is throwing many people off, or just, you know, people are not attracted. The cover is great, but when you open it, what the components are a little bit, yeah. And I tell you, I haven't played that game at the beat for so many years because I wasn't attracted by the anything except from the cover. And when I play, oh boy, this is a great game. It is a very good game. It gives you a very satisfaction experience in very little time. I like this kind of game. I like those games that compact lots of experience, lots of interesting choices in very little time, and very simple rule set. Paolo Mori made an excellent job with Ethnos. And this is a game, yeah, I can almost introduce to anyone. It's very simple concept of area control. The more you have it, you control the area. You score points depending on the area. And then set collection, very similar to Ticket to Ride plus some special power. The ending is kind of random, or maybe can be unexpected. So there is more like a tactical than strategic experience, but really fun. In so little, these games can deliver so much. Number 7 for ChatGPT is Ethno. And my number 6, and I can tell you, this I did not see the answers right now. I'm surprised. We have a crossover, and my number 6 is also Etnos. Well, I didn't expect that we have the same. We agreed on ChatGPT and I. We agreed. Yes, so we already discussed Etnos. It's a great game, underrated. Number 6 for ChatGPT, we have the Estates. The Estates is a brutal bidding and auction game where players are real estate developers trying to build up a city. It's a quick and cutthroat game where your decision can directly sabotage others. Its simplicity might make it seem less appealing compared to more complex economic games, but its depth lies in this player's interaction and delicate balance of risk-reward. I did not play the States. I agree. For what I heard is the cutthroat, and I think this is what people don't really like, is the meanness that this game has, and it's quite long for what, you know, the type of backstabbing that you get. Usually games that if you get too much backstab and you have a long game, you're not enjoying it. If it's a short game, fine, forget about it. But when you invest your time and then some wacky things happens, and especially when you have more complex game, the type of theme is a little bit serious and then becomes a little bit wacky. This dissonance can throw people off, but definitely the state is quite popular. Although, yeah, I agree, it's not as popular as other economic games. Where are we? We said is number 6. All right. So my number 5 is a drafting game, very similar to when I mentioned drafting game, is what you do with 7 Wonders. You get a hand of cards, you pick one, you pass the others, and then you get another card from the opponents beside you, and then pick another one, and these cards let you contribute or score more points. This is Medieval Academy. So what you do, you get your cards, and then every card that you draw help you to participate in some medieval discipline, like the Olympics. So imagine the medieval Olympics. It could be archery, it could be dueling with sword, I can say fencing, or we'll say that medieval fencing, killing the dragon, or things like that. And there's again a nice balance depending. You want to do everything, but you cannot do everything. You also want to pick a card for yourself, but you don't want to give the other good card to your opponents. This is a very light family game. I prefer this to the 7 Wonders because it's quicker, it's simpler to introduce, the scoring is easier, and it gives you the same experience. Now a Medieval Academy came out with a new version. I heard good things in terms of components and stuff, some upgrades, but overall it's a small game. It's a deck of cards and small tiles, so this comes in a very bigger box. I don't know if it's necessary, and I'm not gonna trade mine for a newer version. The one I have is just fine. So my number 5 is Medieval Academy. Excellent drafting game. Number 5 for ChatGPT is Pax Meren 2nd edition. This game, set in 19th century Afghanistan, is a deeply strategic historical simulation with a strong narrative element. It's overshadowed by bigger war and strategy games, but Pax Meren offers a unique and challenging experience that rewards careful planning, understanding of the shifting alliance and power dynamics. I don't know if this is underrated. I think with the top 100 best games on Board Game Geek, so I don't know if this is really underrated. Whoever plays it loves it. It's a long game. I'm curious to try. Cold World games are very interesting mechanics, very interesting strategy and tactics that you need to use. The look of the game is beautiful. Looks very abstract, but I think it gives a lot of the good experience. I'm very curious, but I don't know if it's underrated. I think there's lots of people liking it. This one, Pax Meren. My number 5 is another little card game. I guess underrated is easier for card games. There are so many, and so the small ones often get overrated underrated or overlooked. And this is Archology, the new expedition by Phil Worker. This is a neat set collection. So you have a set of cards, and you have a hands of cards in your hands, and you have a market, and you are going to expedition to find treasures. And when you find treasures, you exchange your treasure, you sell it to the market to buy more precious treasures. You can visit monuments to find new treasures, but be careful. A sandstorm can come and force you to halve your hands, and so lots of treasure can get lost because of the sandstorm. But you have a tent that you can use once per game to rescue your resources, and the decision is always how many. So you score based on sets. When you place a set, you cannot add more cards to it, and the more cards you have in a set, the higher is the point score. So you want to hold in your hands as many cards as possible before putting them down, so you can score lots of points. But you are afraid of the sandstorm comes, and so you have to discard half of your hands. And so this is always the sequence. Is it gonna come? If the sun comes, should I play the tent? I'm not protected for the rest of the game. Very cool decision. Very easy to introduce. I play this with my family that doesn't play lots of games. I play with my parents, and it's really lots of fun. Doesn't play very well with two players, but I enjoy it. Also with two, I enjoy it, so I will play it. So my number 4, Archology. For CHGPT at number 4, we have Sentinels The Multiverse. This cooperative card game where players assume the roles of superhero battling a villain is rich in theme and variety. Despite its deep lore and engaging mechanics, it often gets overshadowed by more streamlined or visually polished games like Marvel Champions. However, its wide range of hero, villains, and the intricate interaction between cards offer a robust and rewarding experience. I agree on that. I did not play Sentinels The Multiverse, but if you ask me, I would prefer playing Champions or Marvel's Champions, or was the other one. A slipper to my mind. I will put the picture of the board over here. I played this quite a bit. I enjoyed it. Setup and teardown is quite painful, and that's why people prefer probably Marvel Champion, which I have not played. Sentinel Multiverse, I will try to play, definitely. Yeah, I agree, it's underrated. Okay, let's go to the top 3. Okay, number 3, another card game, another 2-player game, and this time it's a deduction, kind of deduction game, and this is Noir. In this game, you have a killer and you have a detective. You have this grid of cards. The detective knows, or both players know who the detective is. The killer is secret, and the killer can, on their turn, can move, can shift, or can kill people around them. Around the killer. So imagine you have a quadrant of 9 cards around the killer, and the killer can kill. So 8 cards, and the killer can kill one of them. So when he kills, you flip the card to say that this person is dead, but now the detective knows at least where the killer could be, and so the detective is trying to canvass the area and trying to find the killer, and then the killer needs to be good. You need to shift it quickly, can change the identity. If he kills, I think 10 or 12 wins, and then he loses if the detective caught him and arrest him. The detective also loses if gets killed by the killer. So very good. There's also version team like this version that I have here on the top offers several modes. I know I didn't mess around with any of those, although I've seen some reviews that they say they are good. I played 2 players and I enjoy it so much. I play it again. I should play this one more often again. I played a long time ago, almost every night, and then I introduced to other people, and haven't played for I think a couple of years now. I need to bring it back to the table. Yes, Noir on my number 3. Okay, top 3 for ChatGPT. We have Vast, the Crystal Caverns. Vast is a highly asymmetrical game where each player has completely different roles and goals, from a knight to a dragon to the cave itself. This is very cool. Yes, the cave, you can be the cave. This makes it a unique experience with immense replayability, but the asymmetry can be intimidating, which might deter some players, leading it to be overlooked. Yes, and also I think Root from the same company just blasted the market and interest of many other people. It does everything way better than Vast. Gives so many similar experience, though the mechanics are very different. So I can see why this is, same company makes it very similar in terms of replayability, asymmetry, complexity, and look, and everything way better. And so it's easy for people to move from Vast to Root, or if they introduce to the Leaders games, go straight to Root, which is quite high ranked in Board Game Geek. So yeah, I agree, Vast is underrated. Very good game. Number 2 for me, we have city building, engine building, simultaneous selection, and this is Coloma. You're building the city of Coloma in the Wild West, fighting bandits, exploring the prairie, and camping here and there, and building the city. And what you do, you simultaneously select an action. You're gonna take the turn in the amazing Rondel the Center, which has a magnet. It's great. More boards should have a magnet to things spinning around. And so when you simultaneously take the action and then you activate, but if two people take the same action, then the boon that you would have normally it's covered, but some buildings that you build may give you special powers or special rewards if you pick an action with the boon covered. So very interesting. It's very quick. Basically you can play simultaneously. We play simultaneously. The only thing you cannot be simultaneous picking gold and plays dudes to fight the outlaws. Beside that, you can really play simultaneously. It's super quick. It's very fun having this engine building and then play because I get this, I get rich and then build more stuff. You can achieve a lot. I like also this within one game. There's so many things to do. It's like a point salad, but you can still achieve a lot. It's not like you need to give up on something. You feel like you can achieve a lot. You may not achieve everything, but you feel like, oh, I built this. It's very satisfying. You can play up to 6 players. The plays the same speed, the most basically, because it's again the simultaneous selection, and what I do doesn't really affect. Only a few things needs to be taken in player order if necessary. There is a reprint I think coming out or it's coming. I'm surprised didn't go as well as expected because it has so many things that I think are appealing right now in modern board gaming. So yeah, Coloma, my number 2. Number 2 for CHGPT is Archipelago. Archipelago blends cooperative and competitive elements in a semi-cooperative game about exploration, resource management, and negotiation. Players must balance their own goals with the needs of the group, which can lead to tense and unpredictable gameplay. Its complexity and the potential for player-driven narrative often leave it underappreciated compared to more straightforward games. Unfortunately, I don't know much about Archipelago. I haven't played. I've not seen reviews, but because I didn't look for it. See, this is also, if I had chance to see this before recording this, I would have looked into Archipelago to tell you more, to tell you what I feel about it, reading those things about this game. I have no idea, but if you do, please leave in the comment, let me know if I should check this game or not, and what are your opinions. And my number 1 underrated game in my collection is actually something that I didn't own it for a while, and I played 3 years ago several times, and now I actually had a copy of my first math trade, and this is Domination. I know it's very difficult games to find. Unfortunately, Holy Grail games bankrupted, so I know many people are upset with this company because they are not going to deliver their final Kickstarters. And this was also a Kickstarter. This is a very cool civilization game, very abstract. You place tiles, and every time you place tiles, depending on the color that you match, you get resources. The resources gives you way to buy other cards to get your upgrades. And these upgrades gives you special abilities, and it gives you like sort of an engine building, point salad things. You build this communal board, very cool, very good choices, lots of points, a way to score. Doesn't look too great, I think it's because it's really abstract. Very good quality components. The monuments are cool, although now I think the World Wonders surpasses the quality of these monuments, but it's a very good game, very good. It's a huge box, and I'm so happy to have found this trade, so I'm looking forward to go back to the table. It's a great civilization game, Domination. And number 1 for ChatGPT is Etnos. This Celtic theme area control game is beautifully designed with a unique art style and deep strategic gameplay, while Games like Risk or Sight are more well known. Ines offer a fresh take on the genre with innovative mechanics like card drafting and modular board setup. It's a game of subtlety where winning often requires careful planning and understanding of your opponent's moves. Definitely, this is a game I want to try. Designing the game with, I found out after I came out with this idea, has some shares some small feature close to Ines, but not very close. It's mostly the modular board and some card drafting. Yeah, I like the look is very appealing, but I don't think it's that underrated. I think I've seen it very often in social media. I think I see it. It might be on the top 100 board game geek. Not a game that you've seen many YouTube channels. Oh, Ines. You, who loves Ines? Who plays it? But yeah, it doesn't introduce too many others. But this is a game that yes, I want to check it out. That's for sure. And here we have it, my top 10 underrated games and the top 10 ChatGPT underrated games, or 9 plus 1 expansions. Yeah. So, what do you think about this format? What should I ask to ChatGPT next time? What top 10 make? I don't know. Let me know in the comments. And also, let me know if you ask the same question to ChatGPT, would this spit it out the same 10 games or just randomly generate? Let me know also in the comment. If it's so, tell me what your ChatGPT told you about the top 10 most underrated board games. And so, if you watch this video and you enjoy, please click the like button, subscribe if you haven't done it so. Please check my Patreon and Instagram for more content. And you know the drill, you share this video with your friends. This is not your first YouTube video, am I right? Thank you very much and see you next time. Ciao.